Did Jer suggest like a softcore porn movie?
Let's watch the villains bang. Welcome to Reelshock, the good, the bad, and the what the f***, where I make an unsuspecting guest watch the worst, weirdest, and most disturbing films so you don't have to. Today we are watching the most authentic samurai film ever made. We are watching Samurai Cop.
Good intro. We're going to get glistening.
Reelshock.
I'm telling these son of a bitches that if they continue killing our children, I'll have their stinking bodies in garbage bags and ship them back to Japan for fertilizer. Got it?
I feel like somebody stuck a big club up my ass, and it hurts. We've got to figure out a way to get it out of there.
Curtis.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
First time on the show.
First time on the show. First podcast experience.
First
for me.
podcast ever.
Yeah.
Before we get to know you, let's hear first reactions. I heard you were going to start talking about it with Joe, but I put the kibosh on
Yeah,
that.
you did. Yeah.
Let's hear these first reactions.
It was interesting.
Without spoilers.
Without no spoilers. Definitely can feel the B movie action schlock. The little read-ups I had on it was quite the low budget, so you can definitely feel it as you're watching it.
$7,000.
I didn't get a dollar.
$7,000 production.
So you can really feel the $7,000
made by an Iranian director. I'll grab his name because he was probably making these exploitation films.
Yeah.
Had to get out of Dodge, took his $7,000 and made Samurai Cop, the most American movie ever made. Were you expecting it to be this bad?
I was not. I was not expecting it to be so bad when you sent me the suggestion.
Yeah.
And but it did not take long for me to realize what I was in for. It was, you knew what it was right after the opening credits.
Yeah. You know, I'll talk about it maybe as we go through the breakdown, but I had some ups and downs here. Not talking good and bad. I had some ups and downs about, is this on purpose or not? We'll see where we go with this.
Yeah.
Before we get into the breakdown, who is Kurt? There's no point of saying I'm showing a guest these films. If they're into these films, you are a lot harder to pick a film for. You're very much like me. There could be shock factors, but you're kind of used to it too, the shock factors of films. So I just gave you one of the shittiest films. And not even like a known shitty film. Like it's somewhat not really known. So I'm like, let's give them a shitty film. And people still don't really know this one that much yet.
Right.
What do you like? Give us some of your like favorite films. If you can give me three.
3 favorite films. Oh my goodness. I mean, being a 90s kid, I have a lot of throwback love to, Terminator.
Are we talking 2 or 1?
Oh boy, probably originally as a kid too, but I really like 1. The scares really start to stick more than 2, but the 2 is fun, right? It's got that. It's more of an action film. Love it for the soundtrack, obviously. Lately, I've been thinking about just my love for Jurassic Park. Has been something that I got to rewatch that again.
You're literally talking about like our last podcast,
right? I know. That's what I'm worried about. I'm like,
it was just Jurassic Park and Terminator 2. You know, the one thing with Jurassic Park is we do talk about it a lot. I think once an episode we jump in somewhere. It should be called Jurassic Park Kinda Show because
the Jurassic Park podcast.
Yeah, kinda,
Sorta.
Little bits.
And Terminator.
Over and over again. That's all we could go back to.
Right? It's just they're so easy to go back to.
Yeah.
Third movie, just throw it at it there. Let's do Dawn of the Dead, the 2000s remake.
The Sid
with Ving Rhames and why is my brain saying Stu Barnes? Stu Barnes is not even a person.
Zack Snyder. Also, my favorite zombie movie.
Yeah, I love it. It hits all the right spots. Yeah. And I remember the first time watching it and thinking like, I think this is like one of the best zombie movies. And then it didn't
saw it in theaters. I remember seeing it with you in theaters.
Yeah. Such a good movie. Yeah. Such a good movie.
Let's get into the breakdown.
Breakdown.
Going to do a breakdown a little differently. We might as well just go through this whole film because this is not really a film. So we are first introduced to the Katana gang, just a Japanese gang. And honestly, right off the bat, I couldn't follow this.
No.
It's
very hard
with the Chinese gang. Is that what's happening?
I think that's how it starts. Yes.
Yeah. So we get a great little intro the Chinese gang. They go to do a deal, but the Japanese gang wants no part of the deal.
No.
We get this great Asian man who's got the best reactions. Other than Frank, the co-star of this film, this guy has some amazing reactions.
Yes. And one definite thing I noticed throughout was that for being a Japanese gang from Japan, they're a very inclusive gang in that I think there is only one Japanese gang.
There's only the Katana gang, and
just I think it's Yazamushi. No, that might be wrong.
I think that's the
leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he is like essentially it, because it's a lot of every other race, very super inclusive.
And what do you do to stop the Asian gang? You get the samurai cop.
Yes, it is very jarring to start, because the one thing about this movie is that they just cut at almost seemingly random, making you think, am I watching some sort of bootleg version of this movie? Because there's a lot of times where a scene will just end.
The very first scene we get with our main character, and I hope you've done some research and figured this out, the main character, at least a tenth of the movie, has to wear a wig because he has cut his hair. Now, I knew this going into the film, but seeing the very first shot of him, seeing him wear the wig, means they didn't even have an opening shot with this guy, that they had to go at the end of the film. Oh, shoot. My mom's calling. Give me 1 sec.
We'll do a clap.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Mom. I'm just recording an episode of the podcast right now.
Oh, you're watching your dirty little movies again?
They're not dirty movies, Mom. They're the worst films. The worst films.
Listen, I'm just calling to let you know your father's dead, but I don't know what to do about his Playboy collection. He's always wanted you to have it.
Listen, it's not a very good time right now. Can we talk about this later?
No, the collection's in mint condition. Not a speck on them. I'll bring them over to you later today.
Okay, Mom. Okay. I'll talk to you later then.
Okay, love you. Say it back.
Yeah, I love you. Okay. Goodbye. Okay. Sorry, where were we on this? The wigs.
Yes, we were talking about how this. So I did not know this going into the film. I tried to go into it as blind as possible just to watch it, and then did my research after. So in a way, I wish I knew this, because I would have probably created like a little tracker to see if I could call each scene. But it was so painfully obvious in visual, and there are even, and we'll probably call out these scenes where his wig does come.
I've tried my best. Every time there is a wig, I have maybe taken a shot once per scene. I've grabbed a shot of the wigs so we can say wigs back. Also in this film, amazingly, they had to do a lot of voiceovers because the entire film is dubbed. I did not know this until afterwards. So going into this film, seeing something like this helicopter scene, which I'll show you, you get these different voice changes.
I can see the blue van.
Okay, guys, I think we're getting close.
What, like the differences in those voices.
Yeah, I read an interesting fact that with like you were saying, with this micro budget film, the writer director, because this is written, directed, and produced by this Iranian director. He actually did some voiceovers himself because he couldn't get the original actors to come back and do their, I believe it's called ADR.
I could easily believe this is him.
I can see the blue van.
Oh man, and there's so much of that in this film. ADR can often be jarring in any film, especially if you're watching like a high budget film where you're not expecting that and it doesn't come out the way, like it doesn't sound natural to you. But when the whole film is this way, it's wild.
Yeah, we got some more ADR, which I'm hoping they didn't say this many times, but during the car chase scene, I kind of put together a repeating line that they just keep doing.
Shoot! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot!
This is not edited.
Shoot!
I like the ending.
Yeah, I got the best.
And that like that
sounds
video's not
like
edited.
a video game.
Yeah.
That sounds exactly like a 90s video game.
The funny thing is, as I was watching this, that's what I was thinking. It was like a weird moment where I was thinking, like, was he thinking he was making a video game? But in the 90s, like that wasn't a thing. But it was very straight.
At this moment, I thought the movie knew what it was. So what I was talking about with the ups and downs before is, I thought, oh, this is a satire film.
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong. I think this is really supposed to be a film, right?
No, it's a serious. This is a well
this
thought
is a
out.
serious buddy cop film.
Yeah, it's like an actual like a love letter. Like he likes his movies. He wants to do these movies with a small budget because he just wants to do that. So you can feel there's a want and a passion to make this film, but with that small of a budget, it's just
it's tough to say. How do you make it this bad?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even try without knowing I'm making a comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is difficult seeing that scene. But that's the great thing about like foreign directors trying to make America.
That's true.
Is that they can't see this.
Right.
They're just like, this is how like we would say it in our native.
That's a really good point.
So you get the best stuff from anybody who's just trying to make an American film that does not know anything about America.
Actually, as I went through this film and even before I thought of the fact that it was an international director, it felt like it was like a 12-year-old making this film because it hits everything. Like when they're getting shot and the way they fall, I'm like, that's what you would want to do when you're a 12-year-old playing guns, where you get shot in the chest and you fall back and shoot your machine gun. Like
12
that's in this movie
too, because 12 has like the action, like you want to have the sex scenes and stuff. Like 12 is a perfect age for this.
And maybe he became like a phenomenal and he did like an amazing movie later in life. No, this was his last
man
film.
that knows this was never going to work in Iran. This would not pass in Iran.
Yeah, I moved to America to make a 12-year-old's film.
Wig number 2. That's a good wig.
He couldn't get a wig, like male hair that would be long, so it's actually a woman's wig. And when the
I'm
actor,
wondering why it's so volumeful.
it's very voluminous.
There's so much volume in this
It's
wig.
beautiful hair, and so he thought when he was coming back, because it had been like 7 months, and he cut his hair, expecting no further reshoots because it had been such a long time. But then the director calls him back for some reshoots, and he's expecting wide shots, long shots, driving, whatever. And no, they had to do like dialogue, close up shots like this we're seeing here, and more.
That funny where the reshoots take place? Like it just doesn't. It actually impresses me where the reshoots are, as if the director actually had a conscious thought and said, I don't have any opening shot there. I don't have a good way of showing that he got shot here. I'm going to add it. So at this moment, I'm thinking, knowing that these are reshoots, this guy did know what he was doing, but still chose to show the wig.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the only thing I do give some older directors credit for is the quality of film and the way it was getting put out on VHS. Maybe you didn't notice it.
That's true. I mean, yeah, we are watching this in like the HD digital world where you are picking up on these things, and
we can see the strings. We can see the the effects in the background.
The wig getting
characters.
slightly pulled back in the fight sequence.
My favorite part of the film, the sex scenes. These were horrible and great at the same time. I love that he did like a Bond-esque kind of thing where we had a different woman each time.
Yeah,
it wasn't the same.
It was
woman.
like a good call. It was very Bond-ish or Bond-ish, and essentially, when they got to this, and we're 15, 20 minutes in runtime, not even, and we're already here. So I was thinking, did Jer suggest like a softcore porn movie?
Get this, I was watching it on YouTube, and I'm getting pretty far. I'm like 25 minutes into the film, and I'm like, I bet this film is censored on YouTube right now. And I bet if I find a different copy, I'm going to see something else. And lo and behold, this is the first difference I see on the regular copy. And boy, was I happy. Yeah. I was like, I'm so glad I didn't watch the YouTube version.
Yes. Yeah. You have to watch it in its true form.
And I want you to remember, this is before we even know anything about Joe. This scene that I'm about to show comes right after the sex scene.
His real name is Joe Marshall. They call him Samurai. He speaks fluent Japanese. He got his martial arts training from the masters in Japan. He was brought over here from the police force in San Diego to fight us.
We knew nothing about Joe other than he's in a car chase, he's going to bang this woman, and then the villains describe the samurai cop.
And then again, I don't actually know if, because the last time we saw these characters, they were like in Japan with having that feudal war against the China gang, and now they're in the U.S. because the mishap with the van chase sequence.
Oh, okay.
But are they? Like, are they actually in U.S.? Like, we don't know.
I can't believe that they were in Japan. Indians. intro. That's insane to
I'm
me.
pretty sure
There's no reason to start this war if you're not even in this country.
Right. It was really weird. And then also a funny sequence that happened after we saw the shoot, go faster. Eventually the chase ends and the van crashes and catches on fire off of a simple crash into a little berm. And then the driver falls out and is on fire. It's an awesome fire stunt that's done. But the best is when they're putting him out, the actual, like, the race, it burned the person from one race to another because they became a white man post fire.
Which gets us into the next scene. The cops have to go visit the burn victim, and they're trying to get some information on him, but that's not going to happen. But it gets us to this great nurse scene.
Do you like what you see?
I love what I see.
Would you like to touch what you see?
Yes, I would.
Would you like to go out with me?
Yes, I would.
Love these shows.
Would you like to me?
There it is, everybody.
Bingo.
Well, then let's see what you've got. Doesn't interest me. Nothing there.
Nothing there? Just exactly what would interest you? Something the size of a jumbo jet?
Have you been circumcised?
That was the us.
Yeah, I have. Why?
You were.
Well, your doctor must have cut a big portion of it off.
No, he was a good doctor.
Good doctors make mistakes, too. That's why they buy insurance.
Hey, don't worry. I got enough. It's big.
I want bigger.
Poor Joe. And it shows him fail sometimes, too.
Right.
I like that.
Right? But
What the fuck was that scene?
Like, human beings don't talk like that, right? Like, that is not normal
The
banter.
movie was trying to do a cop film, and then when that scene came out, I literally thought this, again, I'm still not in the belief that this is a real film. I thought this is a comedy.
Right.
And so when I absorbed that scene, I was actually okay with it.
Yeah, I laughed.
I'm
Like, that was
this
funny
is
to me.
This is a great scene for a comedy. Those reactions, too, I thought they were on purpose to be humorous.
Right.
Like, they are really out there, and Frank's reactions really make that scene too. Because if you take them out, it's kind of a boring,
right,
stupid scene of just poor production. The fact that he spliced those reactions in really is like a comedy genius.
Right.
This is not a comedy. He did not mean to make it this
No,
way.
and as the movie goes on, you realize this is not a comedy, and then you look back on this scene and you're like, why is it here?
So now the villains want to go kill the burn victim.
Yep.
To get rid of him so he doesn't speak. But did you catch this? Instead of just walking in as doctors and nurses, she walks in with a cart hiding the
doctor.
man dressed as a doctor. He was in the cart. I thought that, you put the dead body in the cart, you kill him and you get rid of the body. But they were carrying the assassin.
Yamashita?
Let's say that.
Yamashita. That sounds good.
He's the famous maniac cop.
Right. Yes.
Actor.
Mm-hmm.
Which the cover of this originally looked exactly
the
like
same.
Maniac Cop.
Yeah.
I think it was his face.
Right.
Still on it.
Yeah.
And they escape by just kicking the shit out of everybody as they leave the building. Did you not just see him fighting 7 people?
You raised a really good point. There's not much spatial awareness, and we may come to talk about this in a few other scenes, but there'll be shootouts happening. So guns will be going off like right next to another villain, and they'll be like, "Oh, I think he's here." You would hear this gunfire, like you would know this event is happening, yet you're still caught off guard when you're getting shot. Like, oh, I didn't know you were here.
This goes right into the chief reaming out the 2 policemen, Samurai Cop and Frank, in a really bizarre scene.
You son of a bitch! Come back here, you motherfucker!
Long hold.
It's not editing, people. This is in the film.
To smile.
And back to his nap. Stand there.
That's so good.
Oh, the overacting. And there are a lot of scenes that I noticed. It was these, they would finish their line of dialogue and then it would just sit there like for just such an awkward amount of time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it would lead to the next dialogue, which would be even more jarring, or be a scene like this that you think you could just cut it now. Compared to so many scenes where they cut the scene so early. And later in the movie, there'll be this really big chase and fight sequence where it will cut in the middle of it to go to a nude scene. And we never go back. We actually never find out if he even survived this fight sequence. It just, middle of it, cuts to this. And they cut that one early, but they won't cut this captain.
Yeah, they'll cut everything early to get to another scene, but during the scenes, they won't know how to cut it at all. Yeah. They'll just let it run. From here on out, the film kind of does the same thing over and over. So I'm going to try to give you a little disposition on where we are in the film, but I want to talk about the weird stuff. So in this case, Joe and Frank visit the Katana gang, start a little ruckus, but between the mouthing off and the fight we're about to experience, we get the Costa Rican waiter.
Alfonso Rafael Federico Sebastian. This is my first name.
Alfonso something Sebastian.
I was trying to write it down.
And this scene again
kills it.
And again, just when I was ready to come out and be like, oh, I think this is a real film, we get this scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure this guy is making a comedy. I was wrong. This isn't a comedy. But here's a clip of this scene.
Her mother owns the place.
Where's her father?
Bang!
Killed? Who shot him?
He.
Who?
Him.
Who's him?
Himself.
Oh, he committed suicide.
Yes!
When you see Jennifer alone, tell her I think she's very lovely.
I'll do that.
Tell her I'll try to see her soon.
Good. I'll help you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I like cops. My cousin's a cop.
Oh, really? Where?
In Costa Rica.
Oh.
This is great.
Dreadful. And amazing at the same time.
Yeah, a wild accent. Goofy as all heck. Like this now that I'm remembering and seeing this, and earlier I said it's not like a scary movie but like this gives it that vibe where it's like, here's some crazy made up character, like over exaggeration of a Costa Rican server madness.
This Iranian director literally must have met some Costa Rican dude.
It's
like
you are
this.
hilarious.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like let us know if this is some sort of, maybe at the time was a really well-known comedian or something, because it's so jarring. I mean, sometimes when you think of like a funny way where you get a random like Will Ferrell appearance in a film and you know, oh, this is the funny part. That's what this feels like. But of course, who knows who this guy actually is? Like, I don't even know what he's credited as.
He's credited as a Cuban waiter, and then they actually listened to the audio and changed it to Costa Rican waiter.
Because they have to say, they actually say Costa Rican. So yeah, I had that written down.
I could not find his real name. I had to listen to it 7 times. I can't figure out what he's saying.
Yeah, he says it fast.
Alfonso Rafael Federico Sebastian.
Which gets us to a great fight scene. Oh, sorry. Hold on. That's the wrong clip. Okay, there we go. Which gets us to a great fight scene. This fight scene has fists, it has samurai swords, machine guns, and eventually a grenade comes into play here. This just happened outside the restaurant.
Right.
We're talking fists, samurai sword, machine gun to grenade right outside the restaurant they were all eating at.
Yeah, this was wild because you come out. It was just supposed to be one of those scenes where it's like the police are just coming to put a little bit of fear into the gang, and you're thinking they're just going to walk out and there'll be a lot of like stare downs. Like we're not in that big battle sequence yet, you know, because it's daytime, right? You're just not expecting that, and then it just
I can't
shit
believe
hits the
it
fan.
kicked off like that.
And
it just kicked off.
It does, and it brings back that awesome
a dude loses
song.
an arm,
and in this fighting sequence, they're arresting men in the middle of the gunfight.
Yeah,
like they're
so they're just trying to arrest these guys.
They'll beat up like there's a guy who they're getting shot at from distance by pistols and rifles, and then one guy will run up and they'll start a fist fight, and then as they're getting shot at, he'll start arresting them. And that's when I noticed these they're very poor at handcuffing, and they zoom in on the handcuffing. And they're like shit. But I guess
over again.
Now that I think about it, I guess it adds to the realism because you would be very nervous trying to apply handcuffs while getting fired at. But both of them have to do, I think they do 3 or 4 arrests between the 2 officers. And they're so bad at it, but they zoom in on it. So you see them trying to handcuff and like the thing's not going around the wrist.
But good for them. What you just said, the realism, like you do kind of try to want to arrest these people.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was just a fist fight.
Right.
And they're arresting. And then the swords are coming off.
Yeah.
And then the guns are coming off and the grenade. And they do stop arresting people.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, there is a moment where they are under fire and trying to arrest. I mean, once the grenade comes out, there are no more arresting.
Yeah.
That is shoot to kill at that point.
So we were talking about the color grading, the scenes changing. This is a great example. We've got this great fist fight. You could see it's luscious and green. It looks great. We've got our hero here in a luscious green setting. And then what happens? the wig comes out and the background is gone. They either they shot in a different season or they just were like, we could not go back to that.
They couldn't find that location. They didn't write it down. They
were
write the
nowhere
mile
close.
markers.
And we get the beautiful wig, which is clearly, you're right, a woman's wig. It's not even cut the same. Those are bangs.
It's so jarring that I was like, oh, it's so obvious to see that they have a stunt performer. But I'm like, it's unfortunate because I think he might be doing some of his own stunts. He said like he did not like this making this film, or like this actor who played the samurai cop, and he actually said that there are moments in scenes where he's like visually like rolling his eyes and showing a look of disgust at either his line delivery or someone else's line delivery, and they kept it in the film because nothing is edited out. There are a few scenes. I believe
that's right.
Where the actors they flub their lines.
They couldn't afford the film, and they could only do one take. You got it. If it was in the film, it was in the film.
Yeah,
but you're right. That was a big point that he didn't want to do multiple takes because film costs money.
There was a few times where the actor would, go to say a word and stutter or flub, and then just carry right through, which I guess adds to again the realism.
It's working for me. I like it so far. Joe defeats that guy and eventually gets caught in a shootout. They were coming for him.
So what has happened now is he's went back and he's hitting on his girl, and then she admits that she's starting to get feelings for him or whatever, and then the gang shows up to get him from here. This is moments after they just fought, and now he
takes care of him. And this jump scene that I'm showing you right now, this is how it ends. He kills them all. He's chasing one. He jumps and straight to
boom,
nudity,
full frontal.
Again, sexy. Just what Kurt was saying, the jarring jumps, but it doesn't even shy away from the sex scene. This is the hench villain.
Yes, the villainess.
Let's say the stereotypical, back in the day, the woman hench villain.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie has two. They have the stereotypical, like, extra masculine who should be in charge hench villain and that cool woman villain. And they're going to bang.
Mm-hmm.
What a good movie.
Right. And this, like, yeah. And
at this point, I do realize this is trying to be a real movie.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think a little different of it.
Yes. Yeah. There was, that's a good point, because there was a moment, like you said, you're kind of laughing along, and then it starts to just tone down on the funny, and then it gets really serious, and then you're kind of left feeling a little odd. And yeah, that jar, because actually when he jumps down from that building, there are still henchmen on the ground. They're actively still fighting, and it cuts this. So we aren't left going, is our hero,
that scene. They don't come back to that scene.
He could have died and we wouldn't know. Like, the hero could have been shot and wounded, and then we cut to this.
Let's watch the villains bang.
Yes.
And I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
No.
This is great.
Yeah, we're getting 90s like redhead Bush in this.
They don't talk when there's a sex scene. They just play some music.
Yeah, just sexy sax.
And they just want to show you the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not saying like this as men watching women. We got SPEEDO Cop in here too. SPEEDO Cop.
Yeah. I think they messed up the name. I think they maybe wanted SPEEDO Cop, but Samurai, they just flipped it. But it should have been SPEEDO Cop, because look at this. Like, look at this Adonis of a man.
How much better is SPEEDO Cop than Samurai Cop?
Could have been running around in this the whole time.
He doesn't have much samurai, but he's got a lot of SPEEDO.
Yes.
He's stealing this woman from the main villain.
Yes.
This will be his new love interest in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Let's watch her do a great dive.
Can you just picture the director saying, like, I want you to jump sexy, and maybe she's like, I can't dive, like, it's dangerous, like, I'm too scared to dive.
I'm nose plug. I'm not doing it. I'm not diving. It's her birthday.
It's her birthday.
Out of nowhere. And Kurt was right. Scandalous SPEEDO Cop.
Like, yeah, look at that body.
For YouTube, I've got to censor it.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised if you don't get blocked for what's on the lower section of this frame here.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably what.
Luckily, it's black. It's kind of pre-censoring it.
And
there are a lot of jokes in this movie about the size of your manhood.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
and they return. There's a few returning jokes. There's a lovely circumcision joke that gets
with
brought
the
up.
Nurse.
Yep. I don't know. Did we get to the burnt ass joke?
You know what? I meant
the grenade.
to talk about it.
Gonna charcoal my ass black.
Charcoal.
And then he says, it is black. And then the cops look at each other and they go, right on. It's like,
not far after that scene, they say the same thing again.
Yeah, they do it again. They bring that burnt ass black.
They do the same
he goes,
thing again.
You don't have to worry. It's already. And he goes, yeah. And I think it's that moment where the black cop looks over and winks at the camera. Like, we're all in on this together here.
right into the birthday sex scene. And this is great. We're on a woman number 3.
Yes.
Of nudity.
Yeah.
Just sex scenes. They get to the point. They don't go too long like The Room does, I find. They're just there.
Yeah.
They'll be like, hey, are you still awake?
Yeah.
And
It
nothing
gives-
wrong with that.
Yeah, it starts to kind of give the vibe of like that, like softcore porn, like right, like the way they're shot and everything. Funny, I was watching this with my wife, and she when they first introduced this character, I said, "Oh, we're definitely going to see this woman's boobs in this film." For
This
sure.
woman,
yeah. As soon as I saw her, I'm like, when he hit it and it was working, I'm like, we're going to see her boobs, and she goes, "No, like she's too." She's going to hold on. Like she's going to, she's proper. She's going to.
Yeah, Erica was wrong.
She was very wrong.
She underestimated the 90s buddy cop film.
Exactly. And there was a moment where I thought maybe not, because she was playing hard to get in that earlier when he was hitting on her and trying. And he said, what are you doing Friday? And she goes, oh, I'm working. And then he goes, what are you doing Sunday? That's my last offer. And she goes, oh, I'm going to the Episcopal Church. And he goes, oh, the Episcopal Church. That's nice. And then he shows up at the church.
He does.
He does. And at that point, my wife said, yeah, you're probably right. And then within a few minutes later,
I think it was the killing of his neighbor's chicken that he fed her.
Tell the story of how he made the dinner. Some of the dialogue in this is wild. Yeah, he's got a lot of swagger, Samurai Cop. Like unbelievable riz, I think is what they're saying.
It's
like,
just working out
dripping
for him.
with riz.
The movie just continues to just do the same kind of drivel. He goes for the main bad guy, Fujiyama.
Yeah, Fujiyama. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, it is. I found it. Fujiyama.
But while he's fighting Fujiyama, wig. As if they didn't even have this scene.
Bring it back.
A lot of wig in this scene.
Yeah.
But this isn't the scene we're really going for.
Mm-hmm.
They have a little standoff. Turns out Frank was wearing a bulletproof vest when he got shot. Everything's okay. They got, what's her name? Jennifer?
Jennifer. Yeah.
They got Jennifer back. But that's not good enough for Joe, the samurai cop. He wants Yamashita.
Oh yeah. See here, when I remember getting to this scene, I thought this was the end, and it's not very, final boss feeling. But again, this is the big bad. He gets his big bad, the gang leader, and we haven't actually seen our hitman in a while. And obviously now we're like, oh, he's our final boss fight.
They did exactly what I said, though. They
trope.
took that henchman who was better than the main boss and they used it as the main villain.
True.
But they did it with the hench woman, too. I don't know.
She did make it to the end, didn't she?
Hench woman.
She died very
the other hench villain.
unceremoniously, though.
And then she didn't get a great ending.
No, she just gets shot. You're like, oh, wasn't that the redhead?
We've got the great sword fight coming.
This is the namesake. This is Samurai Cop. This is actually good sword play, I thought. I know nothing of sword play, but I thought it was well done.
That was not good sword play.
I mean,
I will say Samurai Cop, let's watch it again. He's doing a lot better. This is pretty cool.
Looks cool.
But then when we watch Maniac Cop try, it's like he couldn't do anything, so they just sped him up.
Yeah. I guess like that's what I would do as like a kid. If I was like up against someone that was really good, I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna maybe move it really hard and fast to look like I know what I'm doing.
And what a genius too to throw in Frank's reaction.
Yeah, he's like, what is this?
Frank
idiot?
is in. The only thing Frank can do is react in between every shot. While we're fighting, though, Wig comes out. What are we at in the Wig counter?
I know, right? Like I think this is like in our pictures. This is I think 10.
It's
but
crazy.
In the movie,
Wig
it's
counter.
a wild ride.
And we're not talking about per shot. I'm only doing per scene. There's like 3 wig shots per scene that the wig comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you'll see times where it won't be a wig.
We're talking like 5 or 6 scenes that the wig comes back, that they had to add this in. He defeats him, and then he goes on to live a great SPEEDO cop life with Jennifer.
Yeah, look at that SPEEDO.
Great.
Right.
These two look great. This movie's...
And it finishes with he'll layer on that rock there,
Spectacular.
and it's this beautiful like sunsetty shot. My wife said like that can't be comfortable. There's no way that rock is any form of comfort, but it's just there for the romance. It's like a romantic novel
he
cover.
gets her down on the rock, and I was actually a little bummed out not to see a final sex scene.
Yeah, I thought we were getting an outdoor.
I thought we'd be
one more
getting
boobs
one
to
last to
send
the
everybody home.
credits roll. Yeah,
all the 12-year-old boys just to have that that nighttime material.
That's too bad, but it is what it is. So, final thoughts.
As I was watching it, I had a lot of good laughs. But like you said, it's an hour and a half movie. At moments, it feels really long. It feels like a long hour and a half because it kind of has some boring moments, especially when it starts kind of taking itself too seriously and the funny isn't there. But now, like talking about it, like I had a really good time. Like this is one of those movies that at any age, but you have some friends over, you're having a few drinks, and you just put this movie in the background for laughs. Because like in the end, this can be more funny than like putting an actual comedy on, because you're just howling. You can just watch any random scene and be like, oh my God, look at that. Right?
In a way, yeah. And
but
you don't have to like really pay attention for the humor.
No, there's no, because again, it's even like us talking about this and how jarring it was maybe for you who've not seen this film. The movie is nowhere near even as clear as how we made it.
Seen this? No one's seen this. Anyone watching this right now has never seen this film. But go watch it.
Yes.
I would recommend not watching on YouTube. You definitely want the sex scenes to get the full idea of these jump cuts.
I think you found it on Tubi? Was that where you?
Tubi? Yeah. I love Tubi. Almost 90% of my films I watch are on Tubi. Tubi.
Sponsor this guy.
I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by Tubi, but I'm literally watching everything I do on this podcast on Tubi. Please get Tubi. It's phenomenal.
Watch it with us.
You know what? You don't have to pay me, Tubi. I love you. I love you. I don't care what anyone says. You're my thing. So most what the moment. We've got the nurse scene.
Okay.
Big one.
Mm-hmm.
The stalled captain who kind of just freezes in time.
Mm-hmm.
Or Alfonso Sebastiana, the Costa Rican waiter.
Right, man.
Now, let me say, this is obviously very tough to pick. There is hundreds of what the moments, but they kind of happen short bursts all the time throughout the film, and I couldn't like pick them. Like we could say Frank's reaction, we could say the Wigs.
Yeah,
they're happening throughout the whole film.
The grenade.
These are the only three where I could say like this is a scene.
These are like these are thought out, drawn out, multiple lines of dialogue back and forth with our main characters.
They're not even the most what the parts of the film,
no,
but they're the most what the moments.
They stand out. They definitely stand out. They're good three great choices. That is really tough.
Yeah.
As much as I want to say the Costa Rican server, I think I'm going with the nurse, because that was the most real like that's not human conversation. Like I think of like there's all these like AI videos now, and you're like that's not how humans banter back and forth to say bingo. Right?
There's
like, it's
no
fantastic.
ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah,
we're in agreement. The nurse scene is the winner of this film. Okay, let's rate it.
Let's rate this thing.
We're gonna do the worst, the weirdest, and the what the
okay
for this. For worst, I'm giving this an 8. It is very bad. This is a lot like Troll 2, except I enjoyed it. I fucking loved every minute of it. I couldn't stop laughing and enjoying it. So I can't give it a 10. It's not the worst. Worst is like literally you can't sit through it. For weird, I'm giving it a 5. It's not that weird, but the fact that you want to include the dialogue is pretty weird. And putting in those 3 what the scenes definitely helps that out. And for what the that's our disturbing factor. It's not that disturbing. There's a few arms getting cut off. There is the decapitation of the head. I've given it a 4 because it's mildly disturbing. This is not much different than any 90s film. So, Kurt, what do you got?
All right. So I think I'm going to go with a worst of 9. Like there were proper moments where I was like, actually bored of the film. I was like, I kind of just want it to end. The things that you're laughing at first, the bad production value, it gets a little stale because it's like it's still funny that
the second half was kind of not as enjoyable.
So it's not that weird. It's like it's trying to be an action film with this little bit of buddy cop comedy with the winks to the screen. So it's definitely not a weird of like 0 or 1 because there is some weirdness to it, some weird like some odd decisions. So I'm gonna go with a weird of 4 for that, just to kind of. Because I don't think they were going for weird, but it has those moments that are there. And then your last was what the WTF. It wasn't very disturbing or anything like that. Like you're right, there is some gore. It does have the decapitation. It has a cut off arm, but then it has a lot of cheesy things that look like strawberry jam. It doesn't look like blood. So I'm going to go with safe 3. I'm not going to show a young kid. But it could be, we all had that moment when we were a little young and we watched a movie that was a little ahead of our age and it kind of scarred you, but you're like, maybe that's what got you into movies.
Oh, totally. That's where
right? Like that's got to be Goodfellas for some people where like they were kind of scared. So I'm going to give it a 3 because like you could mistakenly watch this, out of like dad's like VHS closet and be like, oh, but whatever. I got to see some boobs and some blood and I guess that's what life's all about, right? So
adding this all together, we've got our new Reelshock chart with titles where this fits. And this is coming in at a cursed curiosity.
Oh.
Makes you wonder who funded it and if they're okay, which is very on the money. Insane that Showgirls is at the top.
Yeah. Look at that, sitting up there so strong. I think I'd agree. It's not a quality film per se. Awesome.
All right, guys. So that is Samurai Cop. Curtis, thank you for watching it. Any final thoughts?
I enjoyed my time here on the podcast. Thank you so much. This is my first time. Hopefully I'll get to see everybody again in the future.
You did great.
I loved. It was a fun watch. Like I said, it has its boring moments. It's fun and funny. Definitely a movie I would suggest to watch with like a group. Don't watch it solo. You're probably. Unless you're doing something else, it's gonna be hard to stay focused on all.
Unless you want to get to those sex scenes, watch it solo.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
No harm in that.
No harm in that.
Three beautiful ladies. Who'd you like the most?
Out of all the I like the lady cop.
I like the lady cop too.
Number one for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Clear win.
All right. Check it out on Spotify. I usually have the full episode on Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, this has been edited. That's it.
Awesome. Keep safe, everybody.
Yep. Bye.
Peace.